Today on the LJ project, I'm going to install a door defeat switch right here on the dash. It's going to allow me to easily turn off the dome lights whenever I take the doors off this summer or the spring. And whenever I walk up to the Jeep at night, I won't have to reach in to turn on the dome lights and put the fuse back in. All I have to do is flip the switch on the passenger side, and on the driver's side, use the toggle switch, multi-function switch, and turn them on there. So to get started, I'm going to go ahead and unplug the battery, because, you know, electrical, and then I'm going to go ahead and pull out the glove box, and that's just as simple as pulling this down, pulling the strap here on the side. Okay, easier with two hands, and it drops. Alright, let's get started. For this step, we're going to go ahead and drill the hole for the switch. The switch I bought is from Radio Shack. It comes in a package like this, rocker switch, and you want to make sure you get a 10 amp switch. And this one requires you to do a 3/4 inch mounting hole. Typically I like to use these Christmas tree style drill bits, but since these go in pretty deep, I don't want to have to worry about hitting anything back here. So I'm going to go ahead and use this kind. And once you figure out where your center is going to be, you make sure that you're good in the back, and you can go ahead and drill. Alright. Alright. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean that up with the file. Now that we've drilled the hole for the switch and we cleaned it up enough so that the switch can go in and out, we can go ahead and hook up the wires to the fuse and run the wires to here. Okay, now that I've unplugged the battery and removed the glove box, now I'm going to go ahead and identify where the fuse is for my door defeat switch. And looking at this diagram here, I noticed that right here, door switch defeat 10 amp. This here is the fuse we're going to mess with today. It's the door defeat switch, and to gain access to the wires in the back, we have to go ahead and remove the Phillips head screws at the top here, one there and one right there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and show you what it looks like. Okay, so in here, the two wires of concern are this yellow wire here and this other yellow wire here. So what we're going to go ahead and do is prep these, and I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. So what I've done here is I've cut and left myself about, 2 inches, 2.5 inches of wire coming out of the back of the fuse. You're going to go ahead and strip these back and leave enough for the butt connector here. And then you're going to do the same for these two wires that it came from. Strip these back and connect these with the butt connector. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and show you what it looks like. Okay, so I went ahead and crimped on a butt connector for right here at the fuse. And then right here were the two wires that came out of those two wires. So this fuse has two black wires on the other side that you don't want to mess with. It's just these two yellow wires. So cut them, put a butt connector here, and then where you cut them, connect those two and put another butt connector. And now we're going to go ahead and grab our wire. I have this green black wire that I had left over from, I think it was my old Hella fog lights from way back in the day. So since these are already connected, I'm going to go ahead and use this on this project. Well, part of it anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and strip this back and connect it at the butt connectors there, and I'll pick it up from there. Okay, so I've already connected one of the wires to this butt connector and the other to this one. I put some heat shrink on here. This is just my OCD thing. I like to put heat shrink over any butt connectors or anything really that I can. So I'm gonna go ahead and heat shrink these on, and then I ran the wire back following the actual door, like the door harness, like this thing right here, whatever that's called. I followed that wire back. and then pulled it out here. So I have a ton of wire left. I'm gonna wait to cut this until I heat shrink that and kind of set it in place, just so I make sure that I have plenty of wire to run to here. So let me go ahead and heat shrink and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so the heat shrink is on both sets of wires. Alright, here are the wires. I've already stripped them back and folded them over and crimped and twisted them. So we can go ahead. I like using these nylon female for these. Just makes it easier on life. And we can also heat shrink these because overkill. And crimp this. I want to say this is a blue. Okay, solid. And the other one, and crimp. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and test this out. Go ahead and put these on here. And so this is in the off position, so hopefully when I go touch the battery, the dome lights won't come on. Just go ahead and aim you up there. Actually, I'll switch this into the on. So now it's in the on position. I'm gonna go touch the battery and see if it cuts on. On. And we flick the switch. They should cut off in a second. And they're off. Easy as that. So I'm gonna go ahead, heat shrink these, and rehook up the battery and install the switch. Okay, so one thing you're not gonna want to forget is to put the ring, the backing ring for the switch on the other side, then put the wires through, then hook it up to the switch. Don't ask me how I know this, but anyway. So yeah, I put some heat shrink on here. It's overkill because these are nylon, like I said, but if I have it, why not use it? And so now we're gonna go ahead and slide this back, and this should hop on in. And we're gonna go ahead and do the long, tedious process of winding this thing down on it. Okay, the switch is now installed. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that the wiring going back is nice and tucked. Put some zip ties on it, and then put the fuse block back in with the 2 Phillips head screws, and that'll be it. Once put the glove box in, and that'll be it. Yeah. Okay, install is all done. All back together. Battery's back and hooked up. It is off right now except the door open. And back in the glove box. Let's see. All tucked away. Everything's back to where it needs to be. So I think the install went well. Everything's put back together. Switch is deck and tightened down. Glove box is back on. Everything's tidied up in the back. So just to show that it works. Dome light is off, door is open. Go ahead and flick it on. Dome light comes on. Flick it off, and they start to go off. Pretty cool. And the best part about it is if the doors are off, see how the switch is on, and say you come up to from the driver's side when you have the doors off, you'll be able to just simply, okay, the door's already off, go to the stock here and just switch them on using the multifunction switch. So you can do it from either side.